This is the Celestial Catalyst build for World vs. World roaming. It has a lot of sustain through cleanses, healing, it has good mobility, it has decent burst damage and sustained condition damage, and it brings back the dagger playstyle that is very fun and pretty simple to play. So let's just get straight into the build. I take full Celestial stats with the Rune of Durability. This is going to give you around 20,000 health, which is nice for Elementalists, which are normally very squishy. It also gives you a little bit more boon duration, which is important. It's also going to give a little bit more protection uptime, which is important because the build does not use Arcane, which is normally where you get a lot of your protection uptime on Elementalists. So it makes up for that a little bit with the Durability rune, which also gives some more toughness. Then for the weapons, I take Dagger with the Doom Sigil and the Cleansing Sigil. You could replace Doom with Energy Sigil for more survivability in outnumbered situations, but you do have enough dodges, and the Doom Sigil really helps you to finish off kills because the poison reduces healing, and it's another Condi that can cover your burning. I take Air, Fire, Catalyst as the traits. I go for Zephyr's Boon because the swiftness is necessary since you're not going for Arcane for swiftness. You need to get it here. And you'll also get Fury, but the Fury is not really needed from this trait, so I think of it as just giving swiftness. And you have plenty of auras on this build, so you'll have permanent swiftness. Then Electric Discharge will give you vulnerability on the target whenever you swap into Air Attunement. Vulnerability is another cover condition, which is important. And it will also give you more condition and power damage to your target, which will help you to do more burst. Then you'll be taking Raging Storm, which gives you more ferocity. The build has decent power damage as well, so this is a very good trait and not like the others are any better. Lightning Rod will give weakness and a little bit of damage to targets that you disable, and since there's a lot of CC on this build, you'll be giving out a lot of weakness, which is good for power builds, but on a Celestial build, it's another cover condition. So you can see we have weakness, quite a bit of it. There's some vulnerability, and then there was the Doom Sigil, which are your cover conditions that will allow you to land your burning damage, which is your main damaging condition. In Fire, you take Burning Precision because 33% of your crits will give burning, and your burning duration will be increased by 15%. The actual trigger percentage is pretty low because you have maybe a 60% crit chance and then 33% of that. So it's not that often, but it's important to get that burning because not only will it do a little bit of damage, but it will give you a damage modifier. So you do 10% more damage to burning foes. And usually you only get burning when you're in the Fire Attunement. So this allows you to get a lot more damage in your Air Attunement as well. Then you've got Sunspot, which gives you Fire Aura whenever you go into Fire Attunement. Fire Aura gives you Might whenever you're hit and gives the enemy burning, so that's just nice synergy there. And then Smothering Auras is where most of your Condi cleanse comes from. Whenever you gain an aura, you're going to be cleansing a condition from yourself. And whenever you transmute an aura, which you can transmute the Water 4 and you can transmute the Air 3, you'll cleanse 2 more conditions. So every time you use one of those specific aura weapon skills, you'll cleanse 3 conditions if you transmute it, which is very powerful because Elementalists do not like to have conditions on them, especially chill. So removing that is extremely useful. Then you're going to have Pyromancer's Puissance, which gives you Might when you use a skill in Fire Attunement, and then when you leave Fire Attunement, it will give you a effect around you that does burning and a little bit of power damage, but it does consume your might. So often you want to finish your burst and then leave Fire Attunement and not before you finish your burst, because then you lose a lot of the might on your burst. Then in Catalyst, you're going to take Energized Elements. So it gives you more Fury, but I don't consider the Fury as part of this trait because I have plenty of Fury. I don't need that. But the Might from Vicious Empowerment and the Elemental Empowerment it gives isn't really necessary, even though it's very good, because it's only on Disable. And while you have Disables and Immobilize, plenty of them, it's not as good as the energy gain from energized elements, because the whole Jade Sphere thing gives you more auras because it gives you more combo fields, and whenever you use a aura or you gain an aura, you will get elemental empowerment anyways. This is really necessary for your energy generation as a catalyst. Then I take evasive empowerment, which will give you more of your elemental empowerment that you'll need, and more vigor because we don't go for the energy sigil, so it's kind of necessary. And also I take the truffle and meat stew, which will give you even more dodge regeneration. Finally, there's staunch auras, which is very important for elementalists, which get countered by CC. So whenever you gain an aura, you gain stability, and you're gaining a lot of auras, so you have a pretty much permanent stability. And while it's only one stability, which can be countered by multiple CCs, it's still going to prevent a lot of the CC that comes your way, and you have plenty of ways to get out of CCs anyways, because you do have one stun break still, and you still can blink while you're stunned. While the new Catalyst heal is very good because it gives you even more condition cleanse and a lot of healing, I still feel that the Signet of Restoration is better because you don't have to cast it, so you can just keep being aggressive and still sustain, whereas the Catalyst heal requires you to stop being aggressive to maintain the sustain. And another thing is that the Signet of Restoration heals you on a lot of skills that you don't even know. So Lightning Rod, whenever you disable an enemy, it will count the ability that you use to hit them with it as a skill, and then it will count the Lightning Rod trigger as a skill as well. So every time you CC an enemy, that's like a double Signet of Restoration trigger. Also, whenever you go into Fire Attunement, it's like a double because of Sunspot. So a lot of your traits are triggering your Signet of Restoration. So it is more healing, and it's also not going to be susceptible to interrupts, which I feel like is just such a good thing in PvP. However, if you're not keen on spamming your abilities to get the maximum healing from Signet of Restoration, Soothing Water is very good, and you can definitely take that. Then I take Glyph of Elemental Power, which mostly I use in Fire Attunement because it's an extra skill to give me the Pyromancer's Puissance Might, and it will give you, even though it doesn't say it, it gives you 25% more damage and burning on your next 5 strikes. So I like to use this right before I'm about to do my burning speed combo into Fire Grab. Then I take either Fortified Earth or Conjured Earth Shield. Conjured Earth Shield is a decently clunky ability to use because you have to cast it, and then you have to cast the skills that are defensive, and also you have to stand still to be invulnerable. So I like Fortified Earth in outnumbered situations because it's a little bit more reliable, but if you're in a 1v1, you can really afford to use Conjured Earth Shield to greater effect because it's defensive and offensive. And then you're going to be taking Lightning Flash, which is just a staple elementalist utility. Then you have Elemental Celerity. This will recharge all of your weapon skills that you're currently using of that attunement, and if it's used in range of one of your spears, you gain a boon based on its element. You can use the Elemental Celerity to get a double CC combo with the air skills, recharging them twice, or you can use it on Ride the Lightning and get a double Ride the Lightning, which can easily get you out of combat with Lightning Flash to pretty much disengage. You can use it in fire for a double fire burst, but usually enemies are not going to just sit there and get hit by that, so it's usually better to do a double air combo for that. And if you've got a lot of pressure on you, you can do it in water, and a lot of your sustain comes from water, and if you do a double water heal combo, that can easily get you to full health again. As a catalyst, you have access to the Jade Sphere, which puts down this pulsing area of effect. The damage is very insignificant, but it can actually remove Aegis and blinds, so it's not bad. And you'll gain energy for the Jade Sphere by hitting things, and while the Jade Sphere is out, you can't actually gain energy other than by swapping attunements due to the trait there. So The effects of each attunement's Jade Sphere are very unique, and there's a lot of combos that you can do, so I'll try to go over a couple of them, but there's really a lot more than I think is, room for in a video. So let's start out with the Earth attunement. You have Pulsing Protection and a Poison Field. This isn't really too important, but you can actually get a decent amount of protection from standing in the Jade Sphere, and your Fortified Earth will reduce its cooldown if you start casting it in the Earth Jade Sphere or you finish casting the Fortified Earth in the Jade Sphere. And a 16-second, 3-second block is pretty good. So I would say that using it in the Earth Jade Sphere is nice for the lowered cooldown, but the thing is, generally when you're in your Earth, you're pretty okay anyways, so I like to use the Fortified Earth independently of the Earth Jade Sphere, because then you've got more coverage on your defenses, but if you want to stack them to get lower cooldown, that works too. The Air attunement has Quickness and a Lightning Field. The Lightning Field is not too important, but the Pulsing Quickness is very good because you can attack faster, which can give you more Signet of Restoration triggers. You can also do the Lightning Field into the Earth 3, which is a leap finisher that dazes, and that would give a Lightning Rod trigger, but it's not really too useful because normally you want to be going out of fire into Earth, not out of air into Earth. And then in the Water attunement, you've got Pulsing Resolution, which reduces condition damage, and a Water Field. The Water Field is extremely important because you can combo finisher in that for a lot of healing. So what I like to do is start out in your Frost Aura when you enter the Water attunement. This gives you reduced damage and will chill enemies that hit you, and then you can transmute it, as you can see, for 1.6k healing and another 1.3k from the regeneration, and that's also cleansing conditions because of the Smothering Auras trait. And then you can do Cleansing Wave, which removes another 3 conditions and will heal you for 2.4k. So right there, we've already healed for like 5k and cleansed 6 conditions. Then afterwards, you can do your Jade Sphere into the Frozen Burst, and since that's a combo finisher in your Water attunement, that would give you a Frost Aura because of the Elemental Epitome trait. So essentially, because the cooldown of the transmutes is so low, what I like to do is Frost Aura, and then Cleansing Wave, and then put down the Jade Sphere. Now you've got a second Frost Aura transmute, and then you can do another set of combo finishers from Earth in your Water field. So if you don't get to full health from your Water attunement combo, then you're not really doing the combo right. It should really heal you a lot. Then you've got Fire attunement. The Jade Sphere gives you Might, Pulsing, and a Fire field. It's not too amazing because you've already got a Fire field to blast with Earth, but if you've got the energy, then you can use it because the extra Might is kind of nice. So let's go over some of the skills that you'll be using and the rotation. Normally, I like to start in Air. As you can see, Air attunement is pretty interesting because you just saw I swapped into Air there, and it gave poison and vulnerability to the target because my Doom Sigil is going to trigger, and then the next time I hit, it's going to give that Doom Sigil out. But since I have the Air trait, Electric Discharge, it will hit after I get the Doom Sigil. So when I go in Air, if the Doom Sigil is not on cooldown, it will give out vulnerability and poison. So that starts out your combo there. And then what you want to do is ride the lightning into melee range, and then use your 2 skill and your 3 skill. The Shocking Aura will stun any enemies that hit you in melee range, and then you can transmute that for another stun. I like to get a little bit of value out of that stun aura before transmuting it for the second stun. And then while this is happening, you're using your convergence and your auto attack. If you land the stun from your Shocking Aura's transmute, then you can go into your updraft, which is a bit of a delay, so it's really important that they're stunned to land this longer stun CC kind of effect. And then once you've landed that, you probably want to use your Jade Sphere sometime between the landing of the updraft and going into your fire attunement, because then your fire attunement burst is really important, because while they're CC'd, you want to land your entire combo. So you have the quickness from your Jade Sphere, and then you go into fire, burning speed, Ring of Fire, and then Fire Grab is your main combo there. And then you can do this with Glyph of Elemental Power. So you're going to land your 3, 4, and 5, and that does a decent amount of damage, though it won't always crit because you've only got 60% crit chance, but that's essentially the combo. And then once you've landed that, you want to just Drake's Breath them for a little bit more burning damage over time. Then you can follow up with the Earthen Rush and do a secondary Earth Burst with the 3 into 4 into 5. And then from there, if you need to resustain, go into the water, do the water combo, and then go back into air. So the main combo is going to look like this. You go in with air, do your Jade Sphere, your stun combo, and then go into fire, use the 3, 4, 5, go into earth, use the 3 and the 4 and the 5, and then from there you go into the water attunement if you need it, or you go into air again. Now you've also got elemental celerity, so there's also the option to do a double air burst, and that's usually very reliable because when you're in air, people are usually using their stability, they're using their stun breaks, and if you can bait out their stun breaks and then just use elemental celerity to get all of those back, then you can essentially secure that combo is going to land because they don't have any stun breaks. You land the combo for real that time, and then you do the fire burst. When you're out in World versus World, you need Projectile Reflect to go against a Ranger or any other class. Most players are running projectiles in World versus World roaming. So as a Elementalist, you normally have Focus, but with Dagger, you don't have that same amount of Projectile Reflect. So you need to make up for that by using your combo finishers in fields while in Earth Attunement, and because of Elemental Epitome, you'll get a Magnetic Aura, and then Fortified Earth is just a straight up block. As you can see here in this situation, I'm being chased by a Thief and a Sikkim Ranger, trying to kite behind trees to survive, but there's a lot of pressure on me, and I have to counter pressure them as well, because if I just let them free cast on me, I don't have that much damage reduction. I need to get weakness from my CCs. So you always have to play aggressively, and when you need to play very passively, you got to go behind terrain, use your Ride the Lightning to get out of range, and of course use your water combo. But here, I'm taking a lot of pressure and I'm pretty much out of cooldown, so I have to line of sight, use my water combo in the Jade Sphere, and now I'm in a pretty okay situation. My Shocking Aura is up, so that prevents the Ranger from bursting me, and I'm getting a lot more players on me at this point, so I'm just trying to kite, and I've been Sick'emed using my water combo again, and I port up the ledge, but now there's way more enemies here, and a Thief jumps on me. I instantly rally, and I use my Fortified Earth. I'm going to Ride the Lightning out without a target, and unfortunately I did swap attunements there because I wanted to heal a little bit, and I panicked, but if I used the Elemental Celerity there, I could have got a secondary Ride the Lightning and get out of there. But we are going to rally off of their Dragon Hunter here because this is a pretty chaotic fight, and I'm able to get out of range of the Thief and enter into the water to disengage. Once you can survive the pressure, you need to be able to secure kills as a full melee build. That can be difficult against players who choose not to fight you in fair circumstances or are very hard to catch. So you need to be able to burst people down, kill them very quickly, and then either get the stomp with stability, or you need to have massive cleave from either a secondary flame burst from the Elemental Celerity, or just pure auto attack damage while you're in your air attunement. So here you can see I'm trying to chase a Fresh Hair Weaver, and a lot of the times my damage is just not going to land because they have pretty much permanent super speed. So I try to land my leaps after they dodge away from me rather than trying to close the gap with my leaps, I close the gap with my movement, and when I get close enough to them, they'll dodge away, and then I use the leap to make sure that that leap actually lands rather than just allowing them to get away easily. And when I can land my big stuns on them like that, then you can see a lot of the damage manifest. So you don't want to just throw out your combo when you want to land it. You want to throw out the combo after you've already baited out those cooldowns. But that's pretty much how you play the Celestial Catalyst. And if you like this content, then like the video, subscribe for more, and I will see you all next time.